The story begins with a party, where a teenager named Cole searches a bustling house for his younger brother, Duckett. When someone warns him that Duckett is behaving erratically, Cole rushes to a locked room and forces the door open. Inside, he finds Duckett shirtless and injured, muttering incoherently. Cole tries to calm him down and take him home, but the crowd outside the room gathers, recording the encounter on their phones. Furious, Cole yells at them to stop. Suddenly, Duckett shocks everyone by stepping outside and plunging a knife into his own eye, leaving the partygoers horrified. Then, the scene shifts to Mia, a 17-year-old grappling with grief. It's been 2 years since her mother passed away, an apparent accidental overdose that Mia hasn't fully come to terms with. Her strained relationship with her father, Max, leaves her feeling isolated, as she barely speaks to him after the tragedy. One night, while heading out to pick up Riley, her best friend Jade's younger brother, Mia drives with the music blasting through her car. Along the way, she spots an injured kangaroo lying on the road. Riley, visibly upset, urges her to help it, but Mia hesitates. While scrolling through social media, Mia and Jade discover a party hosted by teenagers Haley and Joss, rumored to involve sinister activities. Jade dismisses it as nonsense, but agrees to go since her boyfriend Daniel will be there. Bringing Riley along, the trio sneaks out to the party, where they meet Daniel. At the party, Haley and Joss introduce a chilling game called Talk to Me, centered on a strange relic, an embalmed hand with eerie inscriptions. The rules are simple: grasp the hand, light a candle, and say, "Talk to me," to summon a spirit visible only to the holder. Saying, "I let you in," allows the spirit to take possession of the participant. Mia eagerly volunteers for the ritual, despite Haley's warning. The possession must end within 90 seconds, or the spirit may stay attached. Undeterred, Mia grabs the embalmed hand, nervously saying, "Talk to me." She's immediately startled by the ghostly figure of an old man, prompting Jade to urge her to stop, but Haley encourages her to continue. Mia tries again, this time facing the terrifying vision of a grotesque woman. At Haley's insistence, she says, "I let you in," allowing the spirit to possess her. Her demeanor shifts dramatically, her voice grows deep and threatening, her actions erratic. While possessed, Mia eerily points at Riley, muttering that they really like him, as a nearby door creaks open. As the timer nears 90 seconds, the room descends into panic. Joss attempts to pull Mia's hand away at 83 seconds, but the demon resists, gripping tightly and repeatedly shouting at Riley, "Run!" Eventually, Haley and Joss manage to break Mia's connection with the spirit, though the possession lingers dangerously beyond the 90-second limit. Shaken but exhilarated, Mia leaves with the others, still buzzing from the experience. Later that night, Jade insists Riley sleep alone, but his anxious expression reveals his unease. Curiosity gets the better of him, and he asks Mia what being possessed felt like. Smiling, Mia describes it as an incredible experience, all-encompassing and disturbingly real. Daniel arrives at Jade's house, prompting her mother, Sue, to grow suspicious, thinking the group is planning a party. She questions them, but they assure her nothing is going on. Still doubtful, Sue pulls Mia aside, warning her that if there's any sign of a party, she'll be banned from the house. Turning to Daniel, Sue sternly tells him to keep his distance from Jade. Despite the tension, Mia's excitement over the possession experience piques Daniel's curiosity, and he decides he wants to try it. Though Jade is initially hesitant, Haley agrees to host another session, this time at Jade's house later that night. At Jade's house, the group gathers for another round of the spirit summoning game. Daniel takes the spotlight, confidently grabbing the embalmed hand and reciting, "Talk to me," and "I let you in." As the spirit enters his body, the atmosphere shifts into something deeply unsettling. The entity mocks Jade with biting, cruel remarks, warping Daniel's behavior into something disturbingly inappropriate. Events escalate as Daniel drops to the floor, humping it in a bizarre, animalistic frenzy. To everyone's horror, Jade's dog approaches, and Daniel licks the dog's mouth in an unnatural, grotesque display. The room is filled with a mix of shock and uneasy laughter as the group scrambles to extinguish the candle and end the possession. Despite the chaos, their curiosity only deepens, and they agree to push the limits by playing again that same night. When Riley eagerly asks for a turn, Jade immediately refuses, insisting the game is far too dangerous. The others agree, citing his age. Frustrated, Riley argues with Jade until she leaves the room in anger. Taking advantage of her absence, Riley turns to Mia, begging for a chance. Reluctantly, Mia agrees, but sets a strict limit. 50 seconds, not the usual 90. Riley grabs the embalmed hand, recites the phrases, and waits. To everyone's shock, he appears to be possessed by the spirit of Mia's deceased mother. The room grows tense as the spirit speaks in a gentle, loving tone, telling Mia how much she's missed her and sharing heartfelt sentiments. As the timer nears 50 seconds, the teens grow nervous and try to end the session, but Mia pleads for more time, desperate to reconnect with her mother. The clock ticks dangerously close to the limit, and chaos ensues. Riley's body convulses violently as he slams his head into a nearby table, horrifying everyone. Mia returns to her father's house, bringing the embalmed hand with her. Later, when Mia visits the hospital to check on Riley, Jade and Sue confront her. Furious, they blame Mia for Riley's condition and demand that she stay away, leaving Mia overwhelmed and ostracized. Mia catches a fleeting glimpse of her mother's reflection in a nearby window. Drawn to the familiar yet eerie image, she follows it to a bathroom, where she hears her mother's voice pleading for help. Trembling, she opens a stall door, but it's empty. The voice fades into silence, leaving Mia unsettled. In the aftermath, Mia begins spending more time with Daniel, her ex-boyfriend. The unresolved feelings between them linger, and while Daniel insists the spirit in Riley wasn't her mother, Mia becomes convinced her mother is trying to contact her. One night, as Daniel stays over, Mia is jolted awake by a terrifying nightmare. Still reeling, she sees a ghostly old woman inching toward Daniel and horrifyingly sucking on his foot. Panicked, she screams for him to wake up. When he does, he's met with a horrifying truth. It's not a ghost, but Mia herself, inexplicably sucking on his foot. Shocked and angry, Daniel grabs his things and leaves immediately. Alone and spiraling, Mia becomes obsessed with uncovering the truth. She takes the embalmed hand, lights a candle, and begins another connection, desperate to communicate with her mother. Finally, her mother, Rhea, appears. Overcome with emotion, Mia asks the question that has tormented her. Was her mother's overdose accidental? Or did she take her own life? Rhea's spirit reassures her, insisting it was a tragic accident and that she would never have left Mia willingly. As the connection deepens, the spirit haunting Mia reveals that Riley is suffering terribly and urgently needs help. At the hospital, Jade struggles to care for her possessed brother Riley. In a violent episode, he suddenly bites her and collapses in the bathroom, repeatedly banging his head against the wall. The demon's relentless attempts to harm Riley are halted just in time when a doctor intervenes. Meanwhile, Mia teams up with Daniel, Haley, and Joss to find Cole. During their search, it's revealed that Joss got the embalmed hand from Duckett, whose tragic death started it all. When they meet Cole, he accuses Joss of pressuring Duckett into repeatedly playing the cursed game, which he believes ultimately led to his brother's demise. Cole explains that the spirits weaken over time while possessing someone, advising them to wait until Riley recovers naturally. However, tensions flare when Mia and Jade clash over Mia's earlier actions. With no other options and growing resentment toward Mia, the group decides to give her the hand, forcing her to take responsibility for solving the situation. Mia returns to the hospital, hoping to lure the spirits back to Riley to complete the ritual. Despite her efforts, the attempt fails, leaving her more distraught and desperate, with no clear solution to free Riley from the demon's hold. Determined to save Riley, Mia decides to venture into the spirit world, convinced his soul is trapped by vengeful entities. In a vision, she meets the spirit of a young girl and begs for help finding Riley. The girl agrees, whispering ominously, "I let you in," and reveals a horrifying sight. Riley is being relentlessly tormented by violent spirits in limbo. When Mia wakes up, she shares her grim discovery with her friends, warning them that the spirits won't stop. Back at home, Mia's father, Max, approaches her with a heavy heart. He admits he's been hiding the truth about her mother's death and shows her Ria's note, confirming that her passing was not accidental. The revelation shatters Mia, and she retreats to her room, overcome with grief. As Mia cries, Ria's spirit appears, seemingly offering comfort, but the moment is interrupted by loud banging on her bedroom door. Max's voice demands to be let in. Confused and terrified, Mia turns to Ria's spirit, who insists that Max is lying about the note and warns her that the figure outside is not her father, but a spirit impersonating him. Meanwhile, Max is shown in another room, further deepening Mia's fear and uncertainty. Ria's spirit reveals a chilling solution to save Riley: his death. While Mia struggles to process this, the entity imitating her father, Max, storms into her room and attacks her. Hearing the commotion from the next room, the real Max rushes to help, only to find the door locked. In desperation, he breaks it down. In a panic, Mia mistakes her real father for the spirit and, in a horrifying moment, stabs him in the neck with scissors. As Max collapses, bloodied and gasping, Mia is left horrified by her actions. Desperate to act, Mia calls Jade, claiming she knows how to save Riley and urging her to come over. However, Mia uses this as a ruse to lure Jade away from the hospital, giving her a chance to reach Riley first. At the hospital, Sue, Jade's mother, unexpectedly encounters Mia. She expresses regret for blaming her earlier and reassures her that Riley's condition wasn't her fault. Relieved by Sue's change in tone, Mia is granted a moment alone with Riley. Under the growing influence of the spirits, Mia becomes consumed by their whispers. Believing that ending Riley's life is the only way to free him, she grabs the scissors, ready to act. Meanwhile, Jade arrives at Mia's house to find it empty, except for her father, barely alive. Horrified, she calls for an ambulance and warns her mother, Sue, that Mia is a danger to Riley. Sue rushes to the hospital, only to discover that Riley is gone, taken by Mia. Back at the hospital, Jade spots Mia in the distance, pushing Riley in a wheelchair. Sensing something is horribly wrong, she follows her, determined to stop whatever Mia is planning. Under the spirit's control, Mia wheels Riley to the edge of a busy highway, convinced that ending his life is the only way to save him. Ria's spirit appears once again, whispering words of encouragement, urging Mia to push Riley into the traffic. Overwhelmed by the manipulation, Mia lets go of the wheelchair, watching as it begins to roll toward the oncoming cars. A car swerves and crashes into something on the road. The scene shifts to reveal Mia lying injured in the middle of the highway, as though she was the one struck. Bloodied and dazed, she regains consciousness to see Jade kneeling beside Riley, who is alive and safe. Confusion overtakes Mia as reality begins to blur, leaving her struggling to comprehend what has happened. Suddenly, Mia finds herself back at the hospital, but something feels profoundly wrong. The environment appears distorted, and the people she loves seem strangely distant. She watches as Riley, fully recovered, leaves with Jade and Sue, while her father, Max, looks perfectly healed from his injuries. Relieved, Mia calls out to them, but no one hears her. Desperation turns to panic as they walk away, ignoring her cries and leaving her utterly alone. The hospital fades away, plunging Mia into pitch-black emptiness. Terrified, she notices a faint flicker of light in the distance. Drawn to it, she moves closer and discovers a candle glowing softly, with a hand extending from it. The movie concludes with Mia grasps the hand and her world shifts. She's at a party. A boy clutching her hand whispers, "I let you in." Realizing she's no longer alive, Mia is now a spirit trapped in the embalmed hand, destined to haunt the game forever. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed the video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.